Hello, my name is Mercury, and welcome to this brand new episode of Media Buffet. Today, I'm alone and I'll be discussing Chainsaw Man, the one show. There's a movie which I haven't watched, and you might be thinking, and you might have thought this, but I mean, you didn't. You saw the fucking thumbnail. I'm not doing the movie right now. I haven't watched the movie. This episode was supposed to come out in July, like I've been fucking saying for like every other episode. This is the final episode of July. The next episode will officially be starting what was going to be the August 2025 slate. But yeah. No, that's not the case. No, it's not. What's happening? I was gonna have this episode out before the movie, and I was gonna go watch the movie in theaters, but that didn't happen. And the movie came out 5 months ago, right now, and it's I think it's on streaming. I think it's on streaming. So hey, there's that. But now I'm watching. But I watched the show. It was one of those anime that I think I've talked about it before. I think I had one that was like, oh, I watched this, but then I dropped it, and now I'm rewatching it. Dandadan, right? Dandadan was part of that. It was an anime that I had like put on hold while I was airing. Excuse me. I didn't watch Chainsaw Man when it aired. I don't think so. I was there when obviously I was fucking alive when it aired, but like I wasn't there when it aired. I watched it afterwards, and I got to like episode 6 or something. I got to the episode where like Himeno barfs on Denji. That's where I like stopped, and I tried to get into it, but then I just couldn't. So then, and that was like fucking 2023, like fucking years ago, 2022 around there. And then I was like, I'll put this on hold. And then I rewatched it. The entire thing, just the entire fucking thing, I rewatched because I didn't remember shit. For some reason there are some shows I'm like, okay, I know what's going on. I know the gist of what's going on. But like with Chainsaw Man and some others, I was just like, there is. There's nothing here. I watched like there are some shows where you watch enough episodes that you know what's going on, even if it's been quite a bit. Like with Delicious in Dungeon, that's a show that I'm not gonna rewatch completely. Not because I don't want it, not because I don't like. It's not been a long time. The last time I watched Delicious in Dungeon, it was June of 2024, not only July, so it's been almost 2 years. I'm going to rewatch it soon, and not rewatch it. I'm going to finish it soon. But I got to like episode, I think it was 11 or 12 around there, like the midpoint. And I was like, I'm like, I feel like I'm fine going back in. I think I know enough about like the show and like where it went that I can just go back in and watch it. What happened with Dandadan was different. Where I watched like not as many episodes. I watched like 3 episodes or something like that. I think maybe 2. I'm not sure. I watched very little episodes that I kind of knew what was going on still, and like I knew where to when I picked it back up, I wasn't lost completely. Like I knew what happened. I knew who the characters were. I knew all of that. I wasn't I wasn't completely lost. Chainsaw Man is a different story. Chainsaw Man's a different story. Chainsaw Man, again, I got to like I think I think that would have been episode 6, 7, 8, around there. Let me check. Just real quick. Anime television series. Gave me the fucking thing. Episodes. It would be episode 7. It would be episode. I dropped it and dropped. I paused it at episode 7, and yeah. and I watched like I watched enough episodes to say like I could pick it up, but like I watched enough. I watched like not enough to for it to stay in my mind, I guess. And I watched too little to really like okay, like I can just continue on from here. It was like just enough for me to go like I can't. I have to rewatch the entire thing. So I did. And I think I was better off for it. I'm not gonna do it for Delicious in Dungeon, and I'm not doing it for Gurren Lagann. Those are two shows that the two anime that just like very similar things. Gurren Lagann, I watched like I think it was like 4 episodes. I could go back. I'd rather go back and just rewatch the entire like just the entire thing. But anyways, Chainsaw Man, and like in Delicious in Dungeon, just go, like I said, I'm not gonna fucking rewatch 11 episodes, 12 wherever I left off. Chainsaw Man. Going into the show, a lot of people like the show, and I can see why. I definitely can. It always interests me. I want to get into more anime, and obviously I've kind of done I think I've done a better job of that than I've than before. Like I used to just watch the anime that like whatever found cool, but I was mostly just a movie guy. I watched more movies, and I guess I played more games. That was like mostly like my thing. I never really watched anime. Now, obviously, it's different. Now I'm watching a lot more anime. A lot more than I did before. I would consider that. Where is it? I've done 10 episodes on anime. Check videos. A lot of these have been me. JoJo wasn't. I'm actually gonna watch JoJo. I wanna get into JoJo. Don't know when, so I guess I'll be continuing on where all that left off. But yeah, I will be watching like JoJo. I think I'm not sure how part 7 is gonna be like released. I think it's in like parts. Season 1. I think it's in parts. Let's see. Let's go to season 6. See you tomorrow. It'll be the first episode scheduled to premiere on March 19th, 2026. Let's see here. Episode 191 is a 47-minute special. Okay, man. Okay. Resume the announcing was September of the same year. Let's see. Steel Ball Fund release schedule. 47 first day is expected to follow a batch release rather than weekly format due to high production demands. Rumors suggesting the 95 chapter was split over several months apart. Series says, fuck. If batches after the 47-minute special, I believe. Okay. Jesus, this looks like it sucks. Holy. Okay, well that sucks. Anyways, Chainsaw Man. Let's get into Chainsaw Man. Yeah. Okay. There's a lot to cover here. I'm not sure how long this episode is gonna be, but there is a lot to cover here. Chainsaw Man is very much like has a lot of things going on in it, and a lot of characters and a lot of stuff to talk about. But that is a problem. that is a problem. I wanna like mention here. is the characters. I'll get to that later. But there are a lot of characters in this show that are introduced, and sometimes they kind of do nothing. But we'll get into that when we get into that. First up, we always start off with the visuals and action, and I gotta say, this anime is animated. It's animated really, really well. Um, it's very different from other anime, and I know that's a joke about like Mappa being overworked, but I can fucking see why. I saw this anime specifically was animated in like the was animated to look like a movie, like an anime movie. And another joke that people make is that anime like movies have a lot more detail to them than the shows and all that stuff. And yeah, that is true. I think so much so that people started just kind of like saying like the Chainsaw Man movie doesn't really look different from the show, and it's like, well, the show already looked like an anime movie. Like it's not gonna look any more different if it's given more of a budget, if it just works. Yeah, like Chainsaw Man does not suffer from that at all. It looks like a movie in like the anime proper, and I feel like it really makes it stand out. Apparently, the author is a really really big movie buff, like a film buff. Like he loves movies, and that's really cool. And the fact that they like in the intro they make a bunch of like movie references, and the show is styled to look like an anime movie is really cool. And yeah, like I said, it makes it stand apart from other anime. Like you can like sometimes you can't really tell what anime you're looking at just by like the animation. I think with Chainsaw Man, it's not. It's very like apparently you know when a scene is from Chainsaw Man because it has a specific style to it. And obviously, I mean, it still has like the the Mappa style. To like into the characters and all that stuff. But I think it's less apparent in here because of how just how the show was like animated and like styled. And because of this, the action I feel like is really really good. Like it's easy to follow. It's well animated. It's well paced. It's bombastic. Like it's a lot of things, but it's all done really really well. Like I like a lot of the fights in the show. It doesn't feel like just them talking and then saying the moves they're gonna do and all and like all those anime tropes. Like it feels a lot more normal. I guess like it feels a lot more just I guess I don't want to say real, but it does. Like this, like the world of Chainsaw Man is made. I think is like made to feel like it's meant to be real. Like even though it's animated and has a bunch of demons and like the fiends and all that stuff, will make contrast to that. It feels a lot more like grounded in that way. So yeah, like I like that about the show, and I feel like the action, even though it's about a guy who has chainsaws for a head and arms, like it feels grounded and but it still feels really cool. I don't know, like the action in the show is I think one of its strengths. There's a lot of strengths in this show. It has a little bit of weakness. It has some weaknesses that I gotta talk about. Sadly, there are some major um I'm not major, but there are some bad. There are some like things that like drag it down. There's some things that really drag it. Just really drag it down, and it doesn't work as well, unfortunately. But that's just the fucking industry. That's just how it works. Sometimes. But yeah, the action and the animation is not one of them. It is one of the anime's biggest strengths. It's very different from other anime, but like I said, that's what makes it special. That's what makes it like good and just gives it this unique style that it just makes the just makes the anime a lot more enjoyable. And yeah, and it helps out the action too. I'm not sure how they fucking did it for like a serialized show that goes week by week. I am not sure how they managed to pull it off, have enough budget for it. Also, there's 3D, there's like CG animation in this show. It's very scarcely used, but when it is, you can't fucking tell it's there. It feels so natural. Like that's the thing. A lot of anime try to use CG animation, and it's what I said. I don't know when I said it, but I said that like some anime studios like don't use CG well because they're used to 2D animation. That's fine. Like that's the anime's like style. It's 2D. But whenever they do use like CG and not hand drawn, it feels weird because they're doing it like if they were they do it in the style of like 2D animation, or at least try to emulate that. And they don't let the 3D like actually flow and do its job and how it's like and like the strength of 3D. They just like use it because it's cheaper. Because it's cheaper to do and like less work than drawing it. But in here, the CG is styled to be like the show itself, and it doesn't like it doesn't clash. It doesn't clash. And you barely notice it when you look for it, then it's there, but you barely notice it. It's used really well. It's animated like like how CG should be animated. So yeah, like it's not distracting. I saw like some reviews that but it uses fucking CG. Is like CG isn't bad. There are good CG anime. You gotta look for them, obviously, but there's good CG anime. You just I don't know. You're not just because you can't see where it is doesn't mean that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Obviously, there's some anime like X Arm that and like the Godzilla Polygon trilogy that use CG and it looks fucking terrible because it's like choppy and all that stuff. And even like a good show like Ultraman is notorious, is for me at least, like I have to like suspend. I have to like okay, it doesn't look that bad. Even like Gamma Rebirth, another show that I like that uses CG animation. Just it's just like man, it's bad. It's bad animation. I'm sorry. What the fuck? Oh, these are just like just the show overall. Okay, it's like I was looking at the Daredevil Born Again like reviews, and I was like, wow, the fuck does season 2 already have a 3.10? It's like I think this is just a show, not just like the season. Never mind. That's the season. What the fuck? Giving reviews already? Who has watched this? Nobody has watched. Like, he's like publicly, nobody has watched Daredevil Born Again. Where the fuck are they getting these reviews from? Anyways, besides the point. Yeah, no, like it's like going back in the Chainsaw Man. It uses CG well. It doesn't use it like too distractingly. It doesn't even use it too often, but it's used to to help out, and like some things that would be hard to animate in 2D are easier to have in 3D, and things like that, and like it works for what it is. But yeah. Okay. Let's move on to some other stuff. Let's move on to the characters. The big thing about like Chainsaw Man is the characters. And that's all. It's like what everyone talks about, the characters. Okay, the characters. Do I have a problem with the characters that are like the main cast and all that stuff? No, not really. I don't. Do I have a problem with the amount of characters? I would say yeah. I would say I have a problem with the amount of characters. Are we fucking dead ass? Sorry, I thought that I saw like something that wasn't on Letterboxd, and it was. I had to fucking check for it, but yeah, it was on Letterboxd. Anyways, characters. Starting off with fucking the main one, the big one, the one everyone talks about, and the show's about. Denji, Chainsaw Man. Denji is a very peculiar character. I would like to say, because there's a lot of stuff you can talk about with Denji. Obviously, he has gone through a rough patch in life, and that's how he got where he got at the beginning of the show, and why he's doing the things he's doing later on, and all that. Like his life has been pretty shitty. There's no way to really put it in any other way. I think, not to be honest, everyone's life in this show has been pretty shitty. But Denji is the one we're meant to connect with, and I feel like him as a main character is really just the the best one there. Like I think the best way they could have done it. Obviously, there's there's some things that we gotta talk about the show in general and the characters and all that stuff, and that is the tone. Not as a problem, but as like a warning. This show is, I think, made for people who can stomach it, not made for people that like just normal people, like normal watchers. This is made for people who can stomach the contents of the show. It just so happened that this show blew up and was a cultural phenomenon, and everyone talks about it and all that stuff. But to be fair, to say this, you need to be able to stomach the show if you're going to like it. Chainsaw Man is one of those pieces of media that you have to be able to stomach, because Chainsaw Man gets gross, Chainsaw Man gets like crass, Chainsaw Man gets like knee deep in these topics that it wants to talk about, and you have to be able to handle it. That's the truth. I saw a review from like a not even like from a moderator on Serialized. A moderator, someone who watched. I checked their profile. They watched like 20,000 episodes. Some people just don't have lives. That is not how you spell that. But it's like, it's one of the most popular reviews there, and all that. Like I went into it. Where is it? Where are reviews? There it is. It's like one of the most popular reviews. Fucking a moderator. Where is it? I can't find it. See y'all. Let's see. See more. I'm trying to. trying to find it. Here we go. I'm disappointed to see the culture within manga animes and change art condoning. Man, man. Maybe it's because I've started consuming media more critically, as far as they're concerned, or about this, so they brush it off. Brother, you can't handle the show. I'm telling you right now. You can't handle the show. You are being stupid. Um, it's not normalizing it. It's not. It's not trying to make it seem like it's okay. You're supposed to think. Person that I'm talking about, fucking mod. Where are you? I'm not gonna say your name, but I've already said your fucking review. I'm putting you on blast. Person, mod, here. Telling you. Listen to me. You said that you started consuming media more critically, but I think you lack that part of your brain. It's bad. You're meant to think. You're meant to think, not just the show telling you things. Shows won't tell you things. This show is written in a way where it has dark topics that make you think. But it wants you, like, it's trying to get a message across. Are these things that are you saying are bad? Do the show make it look like they are bad? Maybe not. Maybe you didn't see it. I think it's pretty fucking obvious that the show is trying to make you. It's trying to say to you, these things are bad because the show puts it forward that Denji is not of age. So if you have fucking basic understanding of empathy, you would see that this show is about a guy who has been down on his luck, isn't the most mature person ever, doesn't know a lot about like, that doesn't know a lot of stuff, and has just never like lived in a good way, being taken advantage of by somebody who, spoilers for Chainsaw Man, I know I've been spoiled for it all, but by somebody, get this, hear me out, that whose power is that she can control people. She's manipulative. And it's obvious that she's manipulative. And she's using Denji to get what she wants. If you said you're gonna consume media more critically, maybe you should spend less time on Twitter. Just fucking saying. Because that's the thing. That's Denji's whole thing. He has lived through life without any privilege, without any like, without anything, and just living life day to day, trying to like eating like a slice of bread, like a slice of bread every day, like not living optimally, and now because of his powers, he's handed this new life that he doesn't want to let go. All he sees is he's being given a second chance at life. But you're meant to know. You're meant to know that he's being manipulative to get what the characters want. It's called literacy. It's called literacy. Okay? Okay. Am I condescending? You know what? Sure. That's because your review's dumb. It's because his review's dumb. And I want to use it as an example because it's somebody who has watched a lot of things. And you think that like you by the time you'd have watched, never mind, it's not even 12,000. I'm not sure, 4,000 episodes. You know, by that time you've watched that amount of stuff. You think you know when you can see things, like when things have become more apparent, but no, like that's not the thing, and that's something I want to mention because Chainsaw Man, even though it's popular, it isn't for everybody. It really isn't. If you can't handle the topics, if you can't like look at it critically, like how the show wants you to do, it's not for you. And just want to make a mention of that. I made a mention of that in my review on Serialized, where I sounded not nearly as condescending, but I wanted to make a mention here because some people are dumb like that and they don't realize what the show's trying to tell them. Because the show isn't directly telling it to them. It's analysis. You have to think, you know, to think. That was weird. Anyways, Denji, I feel like even though I said all that just to say that I feel like Denji's whole story is written really well, and it works for our protagonist, and you're meant to feel sorry for him, but you're shaking like fucking see it and like you see what's happening to you and all that stuff. Like, you're supposed to know that even though he's being given all he wants, it's not what it all seems, and you want him you want to see him succeed, but you know that it might go bad for him at some point. But yeah, I think Denji is just a really, really good character, and you know, I think is worthy of being a protagonist. And even though there are other characters that have very interesting backstories too, Denji, you know, having just the most interesting one here, having the most depth to him, it is warranted, and I like that. I like that a lot. I mean, obviously, he has to fucking have that. He's the main character. He's supposed to be the most interesting character here. But, you know, like, other characters don't overshadow him. Even though other people talk about other characters, and even though, like, some characters, like, there's a popularity poll that people keep mentioning, where it's, like, 3 other characters are, like, more popular than Denji. And that makes sense. But Denji, I feel like out of all these characters, he's the best written one here. But yeah. Denji's cool. By the way, for that review, I wanted to use it as an example for all the shit that I see, about this anime, because I see a lot of like really bad takes on Chainsaw Man and what it's trying to say, and like all this stuff from like both sides of the coin of like people who say that what it's portraying is not okay, and like what people like what it's portraying is perfectly fine. It's like no, like you're meant to think about the show, and I want to, you know, so just say it. Whatever the show says, it what the show shows is not what it's trying to say is okay. You can write things to be a certain way and not think that way, or trying to say like just portraying it to show how bad it is. Yeah. And you know, it, like I said, just like some people can't stomach those topics, and that's fine. You don't have, and I'm not saying this like saying condescending. I'm actually being serious right now. Some things just aren't for people, and that is like perfectly fine. You don't have to watch it. You don't have to stomach through it. You don't have to do that. Just stick with what you like, and know your limits when it comes to stuff. Don't like, if you want to try new things, that's fine. If you want to try new things, you want to see, if you want to go past your comfort zone and watch stuff that with topics that, you know, might not be comfortable for you, that's fine. Go do that. Go do that. And test your limits. I think it's always good to do that. I think it's always good to test your limits with media. But if you know that if you, or maybe you don't know, maybe this is your calling, maybe this is your awakening, that maybe these things aren't stuff, isn't like stuff that you're comfortable watching. If you don't feel comfortable watching it, don't do what I don't. I don't drop things. I finish them to the end. Drop it. Drop it. Know your limits. Go watch other stuff. Just that's just how people work. Like, I'm not the biggest fan of like cozy games. Am I gonna buy a cozy game? No. It's just not my thing. I've played Animal Crossing. Will I play Stardew Valley? I have it on my PlayStation. I could. I wanna. Will I like it as much as like other things? Like, no. Pocopia recently came out. Just fucking weird episode. Pocopia came out. And you know what? I thought it was gonna be Animal Crossing. It's like just an Animal Crossing Pokemon game. It's like, okay, I mean, it's not really my thing, and I'm not the biggest cozy game fan. But then I realized that it's like, oh, you build habitats for Pokemon and all that stuff. It's like, fuck, that's kind of what I wanted all that time. But maybe I won't play. Maybe I won't enjoy it as much as I would enjoy like a RPG or something, like an action game. Like, maybe it's just not me. Like card video games. I don't like card video games. I think they're stupid. I think that's kind of lame. I think they're all kind of lame. Just like I see card mechanics, like, god damn it, man, do it really? I don't like. What is it? I don't like MMORPGs. I don't like when I see like a bunch of like fucking like a bar of abilities and you press buttons. I don't like those type of games. I tried playing DC Superheroes Online and things. I didn't like it all that much. It's just like I see like a bar of fucking abilities. I'm like, god damn it, man. I don't care. I don't like top down games. I don't like I don't like all those type of games. I'm not gonna force myself to play to buy and play them because I know I won't like them. So yeah, just make an example. If you can't handle certain media, if you don't like certain media, you don't have to you don't have to fucking sit through it. Okay. Chainsaw Man is one of those things where it has a lot of dark topics. There's a lot of like stuff they go deep on and show and things that are uncomfortable, and I can recognize that. But then again, then again, it's it's like if you can handle it, don't try to stomach it. Just save yourself from enjoying not enjoying. Like, just don't try. Like, if you can try to enjoy it, then go ahead. But I don't know. This is what I think. That's my little posture on this thing. People go and complain about stuff that's in media. It's like, you can put whatever the fuck you want in media, as long as it's portrayed well, and it's of use to the plot, and if of use of in whatever you're trying to get across, then you can put whatever the fuck you want in media. Nobody's stopping you. It's just that there are going to be certain people that don't like it, and hey, that's fine. Some people aren't like okay with that. But just yeah. Anyways, moving on to some other characters, because I spent almost 20 minutes on one character, so that's fun. Power. Power is interesting. There's not much to say about her. She's very I guess a typical like secondary character where it's like she's not very smart, and she looks like a human, but she doesn't really act like one, and all that stuff. She knows some things, but that's really it. She has like the whole backstory with the cat and like her origins and all that stuff, but that's really all that is to her as a character. But she's enjoyable to watch, and that's really about it. Power isn't there for a lot of the show. Like, doesn't really like. She has like the arc where she's training with Denji after they get attacked. I think it's after they get attacked. Yeah. But like that's really like her extent. Aside from like trying to get Denji killed in the Eternity. I said it right the first time. What the fuck is going on? Eternity Devil arc. That is like the extent of her involvement. And that's fine. Like you just need to be involved in everything. You should need to. I don't think she really needs to have that much more presence. But she's enjoyable to watch and be, and like to have on screen. So that's fine. But yeah, there's not much more I can really say about Power. And aside from that, like she's an enjoyable character. She has, I think, like the least the least like sad story, because of like she is just like a cat that she gets back. It's like, okay, she has like the least sad backstory, but she's like one of the more enjoyable characters of the show, of the anime. But yeah, moving into somebody who has a lot more depth to him, Aki. Aki is she's something. I want to say something more than just interesting, because every character is interesting, as long as it's a good fucking it's a good show, it's a good piece of media. Characters are interesting, but Aki has some things. Aki is somebody who lost people to the Gun Devil, which is like the big thing here, where the Gun Devil killed a bunch of people and now he's gone, and like other devils are using his power is like pieces to become more powerful. And there's the whole thing about the gun control, and now like because of the gun control, people start smuggling guns, and the guns became more illegal. They became illegal, so now people fear guns because it's a whole fucking thing, which is, I think, really cool. It's a really cool like piece of the lore that this show like puts in. But Aki was one of those people who lost pretty much his entire like family because of the Gun Devil, and we see how he became kind of distant from people, and how much he doesn't like Power and Denji living with him. But he obviously became a lot closer. Like, he opened up to people after he was with Himeno, like as his partner and stuff. And we also see like how different he became because of that. But yeah, Aki, I feel like it's interesting. There's a lot of stuff that they haven't touched upon with the character. Obviously, after he lost Himeno, that was like a whole thing with him, and he really wanted and that brought him more to like want to find the Gun Devil and obviously kill him. Because that's what he wants. He wants to find the Gun Devil, fight him, kill him because of what he lost. So like, even though he's like he shows himself, he presents himself as somebody who doesn't have a lot of like emotions and all that stuff. He is a very emotional person, and he still like has that as his principal drive. But yeah, Aki is, I think, one of the better characters of the show. Not that there's any like bad ones. There are some that I'm like, okay, what are you doing here? But Aki, I think, is one of the better ones. I like his dynamic with Denji. How they're always kind of bickering and all that stuff. But yeah, Aki is also kind of cool, and it's a lot of stuff, and like going on. He's like so many devil contracts. I'm surprised it's not like a big thing. Like it's a big thing, obviously, but there's a lot of devil contracts here. It's kind of like it's just kind of like, oh my god, this guy's like loading up on devil contracts. But yeah, uh, I think a lot of what Aki's character will be will depend in in the future, and like where he goes after, like after, uh, like after like this season and after the Race A movie, like where he goes afterwards is what will dictate his character a lot more, and like my opinions on him. But right now, I think it's a really good start to his character. I know where he ends up, but I want to see where how he gets to that point. Next up is Makima. A lot of controversy about this character in particular. Makima is obviously meant to be a villain. I don't. You're obviously meant to think that there's more to her and that she's hiding things and that she's has ulterior motives to all her like plans and things. You're meant to think that she's more than meets the eye, and it's very obvious when she gets killed and then she just revives and kills everyone else, and like her being like so secretive about her contract, well, quote unquote contract, you know. But yeah, like I think it's very obvious Makima is meant to be portrayed as a bad person, or at least somebody's very manipulative. That is in the intro. That is like throughout the show, how she manipulates Denji. It's there, like it's right there, and some people just don't notice it. It's like, come on, man. It's obvious. It's like it's very obvious. Obviously, that's gonna be something that's going to be like that's gonna be explored in later installments. I'm not sure if they'll do a season 2. I know they're doing Assassin's Arc as a show. I've seen that apparently Assassin's Arc isn't very long, so I'm not sure if it'll be like, like I'm not sure if it'll be enough for anything. I'm not sure there'll be like 8 episodes, like 6 episodes. I'm not sure. But apparently, at least on Wikipedia, it says that it's over. So maybe, yeah, an anime sequel, Assassin's Chainsaw Man, Assassin's Dark. Apparently, we don't know if it's a movie or not. I would think that they would just adapt more than 2 arcs, like more than 1 arc, as part of the show. Maybe they'll get more material out of it, but yeah. But yeah, Makima, we'll see more of her later on the line and like what she really is. But I think this first, like these 12 episodes, I think really do set her up to be more, and I think set her up well. But yeah, Makima being manipulative is part of her character, and you're meant to think it's bad because where she ends up, it's like, hello. Next up is Himeno, which another controversial character for what she does. Um, there's a lot of stuff with this character. Obviously, she does some bad things when we get later on the line, but it's kind of like she's lonely and she wants to get with Aki and all that stuff, and it's like there's a lot of stuff with this character, and this is one of those characters where you're meant to like think about. To be fair, I'm gonna dance around this topic. It's not something that I feel like is appropriate to talk about on Media Buffet. I know I've said that this has like a lot of dark topics, and you know what? It portrays them well. It really, really does. Chainsaw Man really does portray these topics well, and Denji being easily manipulated by a lot of people, including Himeno, in a way. Makima being manipulative, Aki and his revenge plot, power and being power. Himeno is interesting. Another character you have to really like analyze and think about because she has a lot, like she has these attributes that make her like who she is, but then she does a lot of like bad things. She's a mixed bag of a character, not in a bad way, just in a way where you're like there's a lot of stuff to this character. She's a very gray area character. She doesn't have all these like black and white things. She has parts of her that are good and are bad. You need to think about it. And you know, it's like the impression she gave. I have some I bit my tongue. The fuck. There are some problems I have. Some little problems I have with the character. And I guess though it was part of the plot like section I was gonna move, but now I'm gonna move it to the characters. Himeno, I feel like when we get to after the whole like she barfs in Denji's mouth and takes him home to her house or like her apartment, I feel like she dies too early to really leave too much of an impact. Like yes, you know what she wants, you know like her story, but I feel like even then she leaves the show too soon after all that's set up to really leave too much of an impact. So you don't feel like oh like it's a big moment when she dies. Like you don't really feel that. I don't know. That's just me. Like she didn't leave too much of an impact when she died. So I don't know. Like sure, like I feel like she could have been a great like character and have like the audience think about like did she do good things? Like she was a good person? Was she a bad person? Was she like more mixed in that area? Was she like, it was a lot more gray? If we just spent a lot more time with her as like character instead of being a side character doing a bunch of goofy shit in the eternity like devil room and like an arc when she was introduced. Like we just had more time after that. I feel like she could have been easily like one of the most talked about characters, one of the most popular ones aside from being what she what the show portrayed. And that's the thing I have for a lot of characters. This show, and it's gonna be a big problem. This I put others, but I'm gonna leave that for what I'm gonna talk about now. This show introduces a lot of characters, and there's one I didn't talk about, and that's Kobeni. That's because I don't have much to talk about Kobeni. She is mostly kind of comic relief. At least her actions. Obviously, her backstory is not. That's some fucked up shit, but how she's portrayed and like oh she was really shy and like and just doesn't want to do this but then she's like actually overpowered. Like yeah, there's not much to talk about there, but there is a problem. This show introduces many characters towards the middle with like all like the devil hunters and the eternity devil arc that then just get immediately killed off aside from like Kobeni and obviously our main cast to then going into okay now we have this fiend task force where all these characters are introduced and they're all meant to be like really big characters later on the line but they're introduced here and it's just like it just feels kind of like weird to introduce them right at the very end. I i i don't know. I feel like this show would have been a lot I think would have been paced better if it just left that for later. If it just left all that stuff for later and just ended like with Himeno's death, because I think then even then it would have been better just like pacing wise and for the impact of her death having it be like the last thing the show has like the big hoorah like the big ending would have been that, but that's not it. That wasn't the end. But yeah, it's just like there's too many characters, and that's a really big problem because you don't feel like you spend a lot of time, and because there's so many characters, some characters like Himeno don't get enough time to really get fleshed out or like power as well. Like even though I liked her and think she did her job in the show, it would have been nice to see more of her. Some characters get pushed around. It's like you see more characters, like oh, more characters being introduced. Like why the fuck should we care about these guys? Oh, they're gone already. It's like really. Come on. But yeah, it's one of my big problems with the show. It's just that there's too many characters. It almost reminds me of Ruby, but at least in this show, you know who's like the main cast. You have to care about who gets the most development. In Ruby, it's like everybody gets fucking development. It's like it that made the episode of Volume 8 was like that's the longest episode I've done on Ruby. It's like an hour long, and that was such a fucking slog to get through because of how many characters were involved and how many characters were not introduced but like developed. It's like quote unquote developed, like how many characters like did things in that show. It's like, come on, man, I can't be doing this. But yeah, that yeah, it's fucking an hour 9. Like, come on, that's like the longest Ruby thing I've done. And it got a whole 3 views. Also, that reminds me actually. Um, didn't mention it last time, but I want to mention it now. Our FNAF movie trailer thing, trailer episode, got to 1.4K views. That is insane. Let me just put over 500. Oh, I mean, okay. Let me just put views over 100. That's much better. Okay, but yeah, it's over that 5 likes. One dislike. That makes sense. Our that episode got to 1,523 views. That is insane. That is our most viewed episode. It's like, I know 1K views don't really like. It's not really like big in this climate of like. Jesus, 2 dislikes on the Incredible episode. Okay, man. Okay. 1 dislike. Jesus, we suck. I'm kidding. Um, but like that's not like a lot in the current climate. But I've never had like anything go past 1,000. I had never gotten anything past 500 even like when the episode like happened. Like, thank you all for like at least checking it out, leaving your thoughts on it and all that. I wonder how good the actual episode on the movie is going to do. That's not just the movie. That is just a trailer. I think people realize that. Maybe they don't. I don't know. But like, I hope that the episode on the movie itself is it does as well or even better than that because I think it's warranted. But yeah, going back, let's talk about the plot of the show proper, or like the anime proper. I gotta praise some things. The world building is really really good. The show doesn't like the show has a lot of stuff, and obviously it's meant to be a lot more like grounded Japan and a lot of stuff. It's in the 90s, I'm pretty sure, like early that 2000s, and it feels that way. But also, like just like the world building of all the fiends and like the contracts and the devil hunters and all that stuff and the gun devil is all explained really really well, and it doesn't feel like a lot of exposition. I feel and like how people react to all that stuff and like the feelings around being a devil hunter, like it's not seen as a clean job. It's not seen as an easy job. It's not seen like a respectable job. It's just like something that people have to do. But it's like you risk your life and all that stuff. It's really interesting, and I like the world building a lot in the show. Uh, like I said, like the gun devil stuff is interesting as like an overarching thing. Obviously, you're meant to like it's a lot more character focused, but like the the world building, the gun devil stuff, like that's all interesting, and I think it's explained really well, and it's like done really well. Um, Like I said, there's just too many characters for me to actually give a fuck. Um, and there's one thing. There's one thing I gotta fucking say, and that is the show ends in a way where I don't like how it ends. Okay, so I like the build up to the Katana Man stuff and having that all tie in with like the Yakuza thing that Denji had at the beginning, and I liked bringing that back. And like I guess I didn't like all the characters that it brought in because it's just more characters on top of more characters. I just immediately die. It's like, come on, man. But I liked the build up. But I felt like when we got to episode 11 and 12, it just kind of like it was just resolved really quickly, and it was kind of unsatisfying. I feel like okay. I feel like the show ended even though I just said about like, oh, I feel like it should have ended like when Himeno died. I don't think it would have made as much sense, like production wise, to end it off there. I feel like where it ended is like the best place it could have ended. Ended it right at the end of the arc, going into the Reze arc, and that is the next big thing and all that stuff. Like, I think it ended off well, like good enough. But how it ended and it going like it being very rushed and just kind of like I don't know, I didn't like the ending all that much. It's no like Dandadan ending where it just fucking ends and it feels like it's not ending and you feel like it feels like you're going into like the second half. It definitely felt like it was ending and it was leading up to all of that stuff, but I don't know, it just wasn't very satisfying, if you know what I mean. So yeah, that might be just me, but yeah, that's just how I feel like about the ending of the show. But yeah, no. Overall, like everything else, I think it's done fine. Like the pacing, I feel like is fine. It's not. I know people say it's like slow, but to me, it didn't. It felt slow, but it didn't. It didn't feel like that was a detriment to the show itself. It was just like how the show was paced. It was paced relatively slow. It took its time. I mean, some people think it's fast. It's like I don't think it's fast. I feel like it takes its time. Sure, it introduces a lot of stuff, but I don't feel like it's. I don't feel like it doesn't take its time to really talk about stuff. It just has too much to talk about, and it doesn't give itself enough time. I feel like towards like the beginning, like that's fine. It gave itself enough time to really talk about like a lot of stuff. But when you get towards the end of a lot of characters being introduced, it's like, come on, it's like it's not that good. It's not that it's not good. It's just not as well done as what came before. So it's kind of like done that on it in that direction. But yeah, overall, really really well made. I liked it a lot. And I know that people were. I looked at the letterbox like year in review for a lot of things, and Chainsaw Man Reze arc was one of the highest rated things on the site. So I am very much looking forward to it. Apparently, it looks like it fits all my issues with the current anime. So yeah, no, I'm looking forward to watching that in like fucking 5 billion years. But yeah, anyways, Chainsaw Man is going in the A tier. It's very very good, and I feel like if again like I was going at fucking the big tirade I was on, if you are somebody you can stomach it and really look into what this is, please go watch it. But if it's not for you, it is not for you, and that is okay. that is okay. So yeah, if you watch Chainsaw Man, leave in the comments below. Tell me your thoughts in the comments below. Always appreciate the engagement. If you want to give us your feedback, you can like or dislike the episode on YouTube or rate us on Spotify. And if you want to stay up to date with our content, you can subscribe on YouTube or follow us on Spotify. And if you want to follow us on other sites, including mine or MediaFay or D8 Entertainment as a whole, they're in the description, where you can also see the review sites where I post early reviews for stuff I'm going to talk about on the podcast or stuff that are related to things I'm going to talk about on the podcast. So, yeah, that's about it. See ya.